Again, the packages were the great stuff to me. The Muta package, you would have never known he didn't ever have one single match in the WWF. but they showed a lot of the modern stuff. He's been a huge star in Japan for quite some time, but I don't think that people really get why he got so popular so quick in the United States, especially in WCW when he was on, the national TV on TBS, but wherever he went, because Bruce Lee had only been dead for 15 years at that point. And there were no American wrestling fans, practically, the number was negligible, that followed Japanese wrestling. It was only the hardcore tape traders, which, as we've established, it was a small percentage of 1% of the overall audience watching wrestling at that point in time. And again, this is not knocking. I know that now the New Japan fans are, oh my God damn you. Brian, testify for me. 35 years ago, what percentage of the fans watching American wrestling on television closely followed Japanese wrestling?
I can't even tell you a percentage. I could tell you that it's probably 8,000 people at most, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So there was still the fascination with Bruce Lee and the martial arts guy and the ninja and the whole thing. And Muta was the living embodiment of that. And the kids liked him because of the outfits, and the guys thought he was cool because of not only the spinning kicks and the power elbows and the handspring elbow drive and all that stuff, but the fact that he looked like he was really in a martial arts movie and really doing that shit. It wasn't like the aggressive tumbling or physical parkour or whatever of today where everybody's cooperating. And the moonsault, when you saw the clip of the moonsault, he got farther out and stretched his fucking feet out.
Yeah, you can see why he destroyed his knees, though, when you watch those highlights. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
just slams his knees to the mat.
But everything was so quick and so athletic and such a strike. It was like Tiger Mask. It seemed like that he was really doing the special effects that you see in the martial arts movie. So he could pull it off, and that's why that everybody reacted to him, and he never had to speak a word. And Gary Hart, as his manager, was never trying to make him a babyface. That was the antithesis. So Gary wanted serious, real heat all the time. But he was just too outstanding and too different and too flashy, and it appealed to that. The martial arts movies were still, the main impression that a lot of Americans had of Japanese culture. Anyway, so Flair then is the guy inducting Muta. And a lot of people said, of course, well, Sting had the classic rivalry with him, so it would have been Sting, but that can't be possible because Sting's under contract to AEW. So Flair in the first 15 seconds says, well, I thought they'd probably want Sting to do it. God damn it. Do you think they wanted him to mention Sting's name and bring that up?
No, not at all.
So then Rick started talking about his experiences in Japan and the Steiners, possibly not the weekend for that, and Hase and Sasaki and free squats and Japanese training. And then for about 15 seconds, he mentioned meeting Muta in Atlanta and WCW. And then he said, well, they wanted me to show him Atlanta. But nothing about, he was the booker during the majority of Muta's run. And he, called him the best Japanese wrestler he'd ever wrestled. And then he pulled out a list of all the other Japanese guys he ever wrestled, ignored Muta for the rest of the fucking speech, and then introduced Muta.
What was that? It would be one thing if you could somehow say, and they worked for New Japan, and that made me meet Muta, but it was like Jumbo Tsuruta. Jumbo Tsuruta had nothing to do with the Great Muta ever.
Ever.
Rick just started naming any Japanese wrestler he could remember.
Well, because remember, he spent a lot more time working for Baba than he did for Inoki.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then he said, and I wrestled Inoki. Where was I? Oh yeah, North Korea. Easy for that one to slip my mind. But anyway, so Muta came in, then was introduced and came in full gimmick and everything, and he was walking creaky, and he doesn't speak. Even after all these years, he didn't speak almost any English back in the WCW days, and apparently still. So there wasn't much speech, but then he spit the mist and got a big pop. So that's about, what was his speech? 35 seconds? 3 sentences, maybe.
Yeah. What do you think of the mask? From the side, it looked pretty cool. It almost looked like he still had jet black hair. And then when he turned to the front, you just see it's definitely a mask. But what'd you think of the Muta mask?
Well, it's cool. I mean, the Japanese guys, they're going back to the days of when they built that whole big apparatus for Vader. The big headpiece that shot the steam and everything. They like outfits and gimmicks and things like that, and it looks natural for them. I'm not sure about, when they have every Japanese wrestler that ever exists spitting green and red and whatever colored mist, in honor of Muta and Kabuki. Can we, is that may be a racial thing. If you're of Asian descent, you can spit multicolored fluids. I don't know.